This video is for my Just Try It class where we make 3 bowls on the first week, we trim the second week, and we glaze the third week. So this is going to go over the steps for throwing that we went over. If you're a more advanced thrower, I'd probably do things a little bit differently. So first of all, the tools that we used this wooden triangle tool, wooden knife tool, sponge, pin tool, cutoff wire, a bat, which we put down on the wheel head, and then we used a bowl rib. So the first thing I had you guys do is I had you put your clay down and kind of turn the wheel to kind of save you some time centering. And then we always work with our hands in concert. So I usually hook my thumbs or touch my thumb to my fingers, but you always want to have those two things working in concert. You want to have your body kind of pushed up against the wheel, your thighs kind of hugging either the wheel base or your pan, and your arms are going to be either locked into your rib cage, or if you're low enough, you can probably lock them in to the top of your pan. If you don't do that, the clay is going to move you around when you start throwing. So the first thing we'll do is because we're centering, we're gonna get our wheel going full speed. And we're gonna get our hands wet. And if you can tell right now, it's not centered, it's just pushing me around. So we're gonna use this part of our hand and this part of our hand. I kind of use this part of my hand and hug this hand around it when I'm doing the coning up. So we're coning up and we're gonna cone down. So I'm just coning up. And then I get to the top. I put this hand at an angle, not straight up, because you'll get a mushroom if you go straight down. This hand's just kind of like guiding the clay down. So it's locked into my elbow, so it's not going to go anywhere. And then I'm just going to push the clay down. And then if it still feels like it's off center, you're going to go back up. And then you're going to do that same move where your hand is at an angle, this hand's kind of wrapped around, and push it down. This is doing two things. It's kind of wedging your clay on the wheel, and it's getting rid of any air bubbles that you have. And if it feels like it's just a little bit off center like this, bring your hand down to the side, bring this hand up at the top, and we're just gonna push it in as the wheel's going around. And it should go right on center. The next thing we're gonna do is open our pot. Because we're doing a bowl, we're gonna go ahead and open it up. So first thing we're gonna do is find the center. So I'm just gonna slow my wheel down and put my fingers there to find the middle of the bowl. Once I found the middle of the bowl, I'm going to use these two fingers as my tool, and these two fingers is pushing it down. They're working in concert. Wheel's not going super fast. And I'm just going to kind of widen the bowl out. So I'm going to take my needle tool to check the depth of the pot. So I'm going to take the pin tool or needle tool, and I'm going to push it down to the bottom, and then I'm going to bring my finger down. And for these little bowls, they can be about 1/4 of an inch. So I'm good to go. If I had like that, I would push down a little bit more. If I had that, I would have to reestablish my bottom. So now we've kind of got the start of a bowl shape. And then I might use my blue bowl tool just to define the bowl a little bit more. Bowl rib, I mean. And so I'm gonna hold an angle. I'm not gonna hold it straight down, otherwise you're gonna dig in your clay. And I'm just gonna let the wheel do the work, and I'm just gonna push out to get a bowl form. See how you've got a nice bowl shape going in there now? And then I'm gonna do my first pull. And so I'm gonna bring it back up. I just tucked my thumb, and I've got this hand curled around it, and I'm just bringing everything kind of towards the center. So when I throw bowls, I get all the height first before I kind of bring out the shape of the bowl. So I will make it almost look like a terracotta planter if you want to have a visual in your head. So first thing you want to do is do your first pull. And for beginners, I usually do 2 index fingers on the inside, 2 index fingers on the outside. If you want a sponge like this, you're going to kind of do the same thing with your hand. So your thumb is going to help support your 2 fingers. Your thumb is going to help support your 2 fingers. And these are going to rest right on the inside of your bowl. These are going to rest on the outside of the bowl. So I'm just going to kind of go down here. And wheel doesn't need to be going that fast. And I'm just going to pull that clay straight up. And I'm letting the wheel do the work. I'm just guiding the clay up. I'm not going up fast. If you go up too fast, you're going to get an uneven bowl rim. And then I'm just going to go dig my sponge into the bottom. And I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to bring it up. And then when I get to the top, I'm going to just roll my sponge over to compress the lip. If you want to, you can also just put 2 fingers here and another finger here and compress the lip that way, if that works better for you. If you're getting a bunch of water in your bowl, just at this time, just kind of take a look and get any water out, clean off your wheel head so it's not getting super messy. And then kind of assess. If everything looks good, you can do another pull. If things have gotten a little bit off center, you're going to just center it up again, and you could say, this happened. I'm just going to put my finger out here, get my wheel going to get this outer rim even. And I've got kind of a dimple here going, so I'm going to just compress against this rib. And that's going to get that wrinkle out of the clay. And I'm going up and down the bowl with this finger on the inside, pushing against this rib. And then once I feel like it's kind of back on track, I'll do one more pull. So I'm just going to make a little divot down here. I'm going to pull that clay up. I'm going to start widening it out a little bit as for the bowl now. And then bring my sponge over, or 2 fingers to compress the rim. So now we've kind of got our height. So I'm going to get the shape of the bowl going. So I'm going to use this rib on the inside. Here's the bowl shape right here that we're going to. This rib on the outside, tucked into here. And I'm just going to do a pull up with these 2. My elbows are locked into my rib cage. And I'm just pulling up, so it's doing 2 things. It's starting my bowl shape and it's compressing the walls just to give it some strength. So if I added a bunch of water when I was pulling it up, it kind of strengthens it again. So now I've kind of got my width here. I'm just gonna compress the lip. And I'm going to now use this bowl, the bowl rib. I'm going to angle it this way, not this way, if you can see that. And I'm going to just start widening out the bottom. And then just do kind of a slow motion up. And then go down and up. And then when I like my bowl shape, I'll probably take my triangle tool and just do 1 pull on the outside to even everything up. And then the last thing you're going to do is either with a piece of chamois or a piece of plastic that you can just cut off your clay bag. I'm going to just fold it over the rim and smooth out that top. And then I'm gonna undercut it with this knife tool. So I'm holding the knife tool like a pencil, like I was gonna write my name. I'm gonna hold it at an angle, just bring it in to make a little divot for our wire. And I'm gonna get our wire tool and I'm gonna wind it around my fingers to hold it tight. I'm just gonna put it flat down on the bat and I'm gonna bring it towards me. And because this is a bowl and it would collapse or get misshapen if I picked it up right now, I'm gonna take the whole bat off and I'm gonna go place it on the drying table